Hey yo, what is up guys? Your boy's back with yet another video, and today we're going to be talking about WrestleMania 10. Now, as always, star descriptions are down in the description below, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram's there below too, so hit the link for that. Okay, so WrestleMania 10 is like considered like an all-time classic Mania show, and you can see why. Like, out of the first 10 WrestleManias, it's maybe the best. I haven't seen all the first 10 WrestleManias, so yeah, but this one's one of the ones I always go back to and watch, obviously, for two of like the best matches ever on the show. So last time I talked about King of the Ring 1993 and how I said it was kind of the Bret Hart show. And in a way, this is kind of the Bret Hart show again, because it was a big crowning achievement for Bret Hart. It was really the new generation had already started before this, but it was really like Hulk Hogan's gone from the company. Bret Hart's going to take this and lead it into the future for us. So that's really what this was here. And the show opened with probably the greatest opening match in WrestleMania history. I kind of might agree with that still. Like, this was essentially a 5-star match they had. And yeah, you could kind of just tell like the match itself was just awesome. So Bret versus Owen, the match had been building for a while. I believe it started at Survivor Series 1993 is where this whole thing kind of started, with Owen getting eliminated and not wanting to step out from his brother's shadow because he being the little brother. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're like dynamic. Owen Hart was just an amazing wrestler, and it's kind of a shame that like WWE doesn't get to talk about him today. And I'll talk about that later. But yeah, this here, an amazing match. And yeah, obviously Bret and Owen are going to go out there and do everything they can to steal the show. And yeah, so the match itself was like, it was really kind of like not back and forth in like the way like Bret had his moments of like, he had his ups, and then Owen had his ups, and then it kind of swung back to Bret, swung back to Owen. So what's funny about this is that like Owen, you could tell like he wasn't the technical wrestler that Bret Hart was, which like most people aren't, but it's not that he wasn't a great technical wrestler, but so he had to like cheat the entire time to like keep up with Bret. Like, he'd grab his hair or he'd pull the tights and stuff and do all these like little moves and stuff just to stay ahead of Bret. And this is really smart wrestling. So it's kind of by Owen, and I really liked just like the overall chain wrestling of this match and stuff. It was really cool. Like, I loved how Bret Hart was just like so confident, and that's kind of what made him. It wasn't necessarily his mic skills. A lot of people, they don't talk about this in wrestling. They just kind of they just use the buzzwords and stuff, but they don't really talk about Bret Hart's confidence that he had, and that's what set him apart. Like, Bret Hart truly believed he was the best wrestler pretty much ever. Like, he really thought that of himself. Like, he doesn't actually, I think he thinks there's like people who were better than him, but like he truly like, dude, I'm the best. And he carried himself like that, and we as fans believed in that. And that's clearly how this just came across. Like, Bret and Owen here is just stealing the show. It has like a cool the end of the match has like a cool throwback to the Bret Hart Bam Bam Bigelow match, where Bret wins with that roll up where he's like up on the shoulders, he's up on, goes in the ring post, dives over, and Owen countered it. So it was just a really unique way for Owen to get the W. Awesome match. Like, if you have not seen this match, obviously, like, go and watch it. It's an amazing just match. Like, the wrestling in it is just outstanding. Like, check this match out. I can't rate about it enough. Anyways, I gotta move on to the next match here. I love Bret versus Owen at WrestleMania 10. The next match I'm going to talk about here is Crush versus Randy Savage. Now, before this was a really interesting intergender mixed tag match between Doink and Dank versus Luna Vachon and Bam Bam Bigelow. That was just an entertaining, fun match. I don't know, it was just really goofy and stupid, but yeah, Doink the Clown was pretty scary. That's what I will say. So Crush versus Randy Savage. Now, this is a match I heard was pretty good, but I never got to watch it. The rules of it are kind of strange, where it's like a no-holds-barred falls count anywhere match, and you have to make it back into the ring before the 60-second time limit comes up. And the start of the match is actually kind of hilarious, because it's like, I love Randy Savage. Randy Savage is just an amazing wrestler. Like, everyone knows this. I'll be talking about him more at the end of the video for a very, like, just absolute cool moment he had at the end. But like, he rushes Crush as he's like coming out for his match, and Crush just like slams him on the outside and pins him. It's like, well, that backfired. It's about as heavy as it could have. And then so Randy Savage gets back in the ring. I think he throws like dust or something in Crush's eyes, or Crush, because he gets it from Mr. Fuji. And then, yeah, it kind of just backfires on him. Randy Savage gets the elbow drop, throws him on the outside, gets the 3 count. Crush has to get back in the ring. And then so the match kind of ends. It was kind of funny because like Randy Savage, he was trying to like tie Crush up on like this raffled on the other side of MSG. So like they have the entrance where they come out on, and they're on the other side, and he's like tying them up and stuff. So it was just like a really, really funny match. Yeah, this is a very, very solid last WrestleMania match for probably the original Mr. WrestleMania before Shawn Michaels. Before like in the first 10 WrestleManias, it was Randy Savage show. When you really think back on it, I know it was like during Hulkamania, but Randy Savage during the first 10 WrestleManias was Mr. WrestleMania, and there's no real argument about that. And this was just a solid way for Randy to go out and just a fun, entertaining match. He will be missed. Well, he's been gone for so long now, but yeah, Randy Savage was never replaced. Crush was also very good. That's what won't know when I talk about him again, but I will always say like Crush, you know what? I thought he was pretty good in his match with Shawn Michaels at King of the Ring. He was very, very good in this also. So yeah. Alundra Blaze versus what is her name? Kai. I just wrote down Kai as like her last name here. I'd have to look Lucy Kai or something like that. Anyway, so I think this Kai woman, she was a part of WrestleMania 1. I don't really know much about her, but I will look up her more about her because it's kind of interesting to see like women in the wrestling industry at that point in time, especially because they weren't just as featured. And it was kind of interesting that they had a WrestleMania match this early on. It's just shocking, but like it's not like shocking, but like you don't really like think back at that era. No one really talks about the women. Alundra Blaze was very, very popular, but you don't really know anyone else like today, where it's like people are going to be talking about all the divas from who are more prominently featured in like the 2010s and stuff, or in the late 90s. So like Trish Stratus and Lita, the way they're remembered, there's really not that many people from before them. So it was, yeah, very, very scarce. But Alundra Blaze, she was a very good wrestler. This was just a lot of them throwing each other off the ropes and trying to like hit like a clothesline or whatever. And the win came off a suplex that was a pin. So yeah, from Alundra Blaze, and Alundra Blaze is a very pretty woman and a very good wrestler. So yeah, moving on, I don't really have much to say about her. So like not like Alundra Blaze, but like Alundra Blaze was really, really good. I just don't have a lot to say about this match because it wasn't very long, or I don't know. It was a good match though. Well, like good for the time period, I imagine. So I see why people today like Rhea Ripley do mimic Alundra Blaze, because she clearly had a standout look for her. Moving on to the first WWE Championship match, and the winner would defend in the main event against Bret Hart, is Lex Luger versus Yokozuna, and this match was again mid. It's weird that I'm saying that again about another Lex Luger match, but yeah, I don't know what it is about him. I don't know, maybe he connected more in the WCW, like the, what is it? Where was WCW again? Like Georgia, Florida? That's kind of like the area. I always think of it like as Florida. Maybe that's the TNA I'm thinking of. Like they're down south versus WWE in the north. I think it was the south versus the north. So I think it was like Georgia and stuff like that, right? Anyways, so maybe he was like huge there. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch some like WCW pay-per-views and stuff so I could talk about them more for you. But yeah, I wasn't a really big fan of this match here. It was just kind of there. I don't know. Like it was just a massive, like most of the match was just Yokozuna having Lex Luger in a trap hold, I guess, hitting him with that pressure point from Japan, I guess. So Lex Luger, Mr. Perfect was the special guest referee, so that was kind of the thing about this, was that they both championship matches would have special guest referees, which was a lot of fun. I just wish Mr. Perfect actually had a match on the show, but either way, he was involved in something and he did amazing with it. So yeah, the match ended up in like a double no contest after the managers on the outside, Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji, got involved and stuff. So it was like, you can't throw managers in the ring. And it was very, I love Mr. Perfect, man. He's so cool. Yeah, so Lex Luger hits like the body slam on Yokozuna and went for the pin, but just couldn't get it. So kind of strange there. And yeah, so that's all I really say about it, because it's like there wasn't really that much to really say about the match. It wasn't that great. Kind of weird that it was actually a WWE title match at a WrestleMania, and it's just so forgotten about. Yeah, so next up we have to talk about probably maybe the most influential match in WWE history is this match right here, and you're gonna understand why. Like it clearly, this match here kicked off so many things for the company, and we'll talk about that here. And that's Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon in the first, not the first ladder match, but the first ladder match at a WrestleMania, because like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had a ladder match before this, and they had ladder matches in Stampede Wrestling that were nothing like this, obviously. Razor Ramon had just an all-time classic entrance. It's like the most iconic Razor Ramon. Scott Hall, like, just look to him. He looked amazing coming out. Shawn Michaels, yeah, it's Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. This is really probably a star-making performance for him here. Like, completely just took the game to a whole new level with this ladder match. It was like the competition of a match, but them trying to get up a ladder, and that's what was like really, really cool. It still had like the physics of a match with them just having to get up a ladder, and the way they incorporated the ladder into this, and they used like very innovative. This was a very innovative match because they were like drop kicking people off the ladder, which you still see to the day. And they were like, I think Shawn Michaels, he got like pushed off the ladder at one point, and, like, fell right onto the ropes, and yeah, that was really sick. And then he like dove around it, and yeah, there was like a lot of stuff they used to like get around that, and then like them fighting at the top of the ladder, and Shawn doing that classic splash off the ladder. Just absolutely amazing stuff. It was an iconic match, and yeah, this match will just never really be forgotten. It'll always be remembered. I know, like, by today's standards, it's not like as like crazy with Ricochet coming off the ladder, hitting the ropes, doing a 450 to everyone on the floor, which is insanely athletic and amazing. But it just never really. This match here it built the TLC match. It built Money in the Bank. Everything we see today, it started here in this match because of Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. So yeah, this match here is just like an all-time classic. I'm going to say, just go and watch the match. That's what I normally say. If like the match is that good, go watch it. But like, yeah, this is, if you haven't seen this match, it's literally the match to watch on WrestleMania 10. And that's saying something against Bret Hart and Owen. And that was a very all-time classic match. And this here, completely amazing stuff. Obviously, Shawn Michaels, it's funny how it's like we had the end of Mr. WrestleMania of Randy Savage on the show, and we had the start of Shawn Michaels. Now, Shawn Michaels had WrestleMania matches before this against Tatanka the year before, and other, like, I think he was involved in tag team matches, but this is really what launched him into the stratosphere. And it's funny because it's just like Randy Savage ending, Shawn Michaels going into stardom. So yeah. Obviously, watch it. Okay, so the main event was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. Roddy Piper was the special guest referee, and man, I loved seeing Roddy Piper. He was in the main event of WrestleMania 1, and here he is now again involved in the main event of WrestleMania 10. And yeah, Roddy Piper was awesome. You already know that. Roddy Piper is sick. Okay, so the match, as a WrestleMania main event, not the greatest WrestleMania main event ever. Yokozuna was just so big, he didn't really do much. Man, the man could eat. If this was a freaking cheeseburger eating competition, Yokozuna, he would be the non-stop world champion. But it's not. Yeah, Yokozuna, he just kind of worked over Bret. Bret hurt his knee in the Owen Hart match, and he was kind of banged up in it, and he's coming in against Yokozuna, the bigger man. Bigger man had the advantage of the majority of the match. Bret Hart, he kind of hit like a little flurry of offense. Obviously, you see better matches than this on like Raw. Quite usually. Like, this is not like a WrestleMania main event worthy, but it did get us to Bret Hart winning in the strangest way possible, where Yokozuna was going for the bonsai drop and then slipped and fell and landed on his back, and Bret got the pin. That was dumb. Anyways, Bret, but like, this is kind of what the show is all about. So it's funny how WrestleMania 30, 10, and 10, 20, 30 all kind of have like a similar ending. And this one was a really amazing celebration. Like, the end of the show, like, the match itself wasn't great, but the Bret winning and everything after that was absolutely phenomenal. Like Lex Luger coming out and congratulating Bret Hart, and then all all the faces on the show come out. Like Randy Savage comes out and they're all picking Bret up and lifting him up like, you're our champion, you're our savior. And that's how you like make a star. And it was just a total star making performance on this show for Bret. Not like a star, but like he had clearly emerged as the company's top face in the company. So that's essentially what this was. And to see like, and Randy Savage is out there, and this is what I was mentioning earlier. So he's on the ropes and Owen comes out and he's watching Bret, and then Randy's like, come on in. Come on in, man. So that's why it was really, really awesome to see Randy. It's like, you the dude, man, you the dude. So yeah, and we'll talk more about Bret and Owen in the future, but it's just a cool foreshadowing because Owen beat Bret, so now he's watching in the wings like some super villain ready to take the championship from him. So yeah, WrestleMania 10, clearly all-time classic show. It's like I said, it's probably the best of the first 10 WrestleManias. Maybe 8 might be better, or 3, but this is clearly one of the best ones. You had 2 absolute classic matches on the show that I used to watch just all the time, and you have an amazing ending with some fun matches on the show. So it's just a good show overall. So yeah, WrestleMania 10, thumbs up, baby. Anyways, I'll be back with my next review later in the week, so stay tuned for that. And peace out, guys.